Big news from Las Vegas. The Raiders have officially kicked off their voluntary off-season workouts, and guess what? Many of the team's veteran players are already showing up early, ready to work. This strong early turnout shows one thing: the locker room is motivated, focused, and united. On the very first day, players were allowed back into the building. Several familiar faces made an appearance. That's a great sign. It means the team's veterans are locked in, leading by example and setting the tone for the months ahead. But that's not all. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. There's also been some buzz around the Raiders looking into quarterback prospects. One of the names floating around is Shedeur Sanders from Colorado. Now, while nothing is official, the Raiders are doing their homework. They hold the number 6 overall pick in the draft, and meeting with a quarterback like Sanders shows they might be thinking about the future under center. Another quarterback name that came up? Jackson Dart from Ole Miss. He's expected to meet with the Raiders as well. These visits tell us one thing: Las Vegas is seriously evaluating their quarterback options. Let's dive deeper into what's happening at Raiders HQ. Las Vegas isn't just focused on the present. They're thinking about the future, especially at quarterback. Two names are now drawing attention: Jackson Dart and Shedeur Sanders. Dart is expected to meet with the team very soon, maybe even today, while Sanders is lined up for a visit next week. The front office is clearly doing its homework on young talent, even with veteran Geno Smith currently under center. But here's the thing: Geno is 35. He's not the long-term answer. So the big question is, should the Raiders use their 6th overall pick on a quarterback like Dart or Sanders? It's a tough call. Both have potential. Both have shown flashes of greatness. With the right coaching, either one could succeed. But is using a top 10 pick on them the best value for Las Vegas? The Raiders' recent moves suggest they're not in rebuild mode. They're spending on key positions: offensive line, defensive stars, even tight ends. That shows ambition. It shows they're aiming to win now, not years down the line. So maybe, just maybe, Las Vegas isn't planning to draft a quarterback early. Maybe that 6th pick will go toward a game-changing player on defense. Someone like Mason Graham, perhaps? Now, let's talk about what the Raiders might actually do with that 6th overall pick. Everyone's talking quarterbacks, but what if Las Vegas goes for a playmaker instead? There are some serious names in this draft, guys like Ashton Jeanty, Travis Hunter, and Kyle Williams. These are explosive talents with superstar potential. Picking one of them could give the Raiders an immediate impact player. Yes, Geno Smith is the quarterback for now. His contract makes it pretty clear. He's locked in for this season. But next year, that's a different story. The team could move on if they want to. The contract is structured with flexibility, meaning if they don't see him as the long-term solution, they're not stuck. Still, even with that option, it might not make sense to use such a high pick on a quarterback. A better strategy? Wait and see if someone like Shedeur Sanders or Jackson Dart is still available in the 2nd round. Now, that's not guaranteed. Shedeur could be gone by then. But this draft is deep. There's a chance other teams will pass on quarterbacks, saving their picks for different positions. If that happens, the Raiders could grab a future quarterback without spending their top pick. And here's something else to think about. What if the Raiders trade back? If the right offer comes along, moving down in the draft could give them more picks and more power to build the roster their way. There's a strategy unfolding in Las Vegas, and it's smart. The Raiders might be meeting with top quarterback prospects not just because they want one, but to make other teams nervous. Think about it. If a team behind the Raiders really wants a quarterback, they might fear Las Vegas will take him first. That fear could lead to a trade. The Raiders could swap picks and gain extra draft capital, all without losing the player they truly want. This kind of move is all about psychology, making other teams react. And right now, the Raiders are doing everything to keep their draft plan unpredictable. Reports say Las Vegas has brought in a wave of top talent. Not just quarterbacks, but elite players like Ashton Jeanty, Mason Graham, and Will Campbell. It's clear they're doing serious homework on every position. What's interesting is how different this year feels. The Raiders aren't limiting themselves to a few choices. They're meeting nearly every top 10 prospect available, something we haven't seen from them in years. The Las Vegas Raiders aren't messing around. Even though players like Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter, and Cam Ward might be out of reach, the Raiders are locking in on just about everyone else. They've already hosted names like Ashton Jeanty, Shatter Sanders, Will Campbell, and even Charles Grant, who could go in the top 15. This shows something big. Las Vegas is wide open to every possibility with that 6th overall pick. They're not limiting their vision. They're scouting quarterbacks, linemen, playmakers, everyone who could make an impact right away. What's the plan? It looks like the Raiders may simply take the best available player, whether it's a strong right tackle, a defensive game-changer like Mason Graham or Kenneth Grant, or even a cornerback. The goal? To rebuild a defense that dominates. Head coach Antonio Pierce knows the foundation of a winning team starts in the trenches. That's why you see heavy attention on defense in these meetings. But don't rule out flexibility. The Raiders are keeping every door open, including the quarterback conversation, even if that pick isn't used on one. Meanwhile, things are heating up off the field, too. Voluntary workouts have started, and one player who attended shared a message. The energy this year feels different. The locker room knows what's at stake. This isn't just about development anymore. This is about winning now. Players are arriving early, working harder, and setting the tone for the season. The mindset? Super Bowl or nothing. The hunger is real, and the fans can feel it. Let's talk about leadership, the kind that sets the tone for a championship season. When the Raiders facility opened for voluntary workouts, it wasn't just anyone walking in first. It was Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, and Jackson Powers Johnson, 3 of the team's biggest stars. They weren't just early. They were there before sunrise. The video said it all. While others were still sleeping, these 3 were already locked in. Think about that. Powers Johnson, the most dominant lineman on the roster. Crosby, a top-tier edge rusher who never stops grinding. Wilkins, a force on the defensive line and one of the best at his position. These guys don't just talk about winning, they show up and live it. And here's the key. This wasn't mandatory. These workouts are voluntary. No pressure to be there. But the Raiders' core leaders showed up anyway, making one thing very clear. They're ready for war. Even Geno Smith, the newly signed quarterback, was in the building. Not because he had to, but because he wants to lead. Players like Jeremy Chin and other new additions also made early appearances, eager to learn the playbook and get familiar with the new staff. That's the culture shift. With a new offensive coordinator, a fresh system, and a revamped coaching staff, showing up early means more than just working out. It means showing you're all in. If you're a young guy like DJ Glaze fighting for a starting job, why wouldn't you be there? Why not show the coaches you're ready to win from day one? This is how championship teams are built. Not in the spotlight, but in the early hours, behind closed doors, when only the committed are present. And, make no mistake, this Raiders team is committed. The hunger is real. The mindset is clear. The Raiders aren't just preparing for a season, they're preparing for something bigger. Let's be real. This Raiders defense is starting to look like a problem for the rest of the league. With Max Crosby, Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler, and Malcolm Kuntze anchoring the defensive front, Vegas has a fierce core ready to cause havoc. The linebacker group? More than capable. And while the secondary might not be quite as sharp as it was last season, it's still strong enough to lock things down. But here's where things get interesting. The 2025 NFL Draft isn't just a chance to fill gaps. It's a chance to reload. The Raiders will likely count on a few rookies to step in and make an immediate impact. Whether it's a wide receiver, running back, or offensive guard, these young guys won't have the luxury of easing into the league. They'll be expected to show up and contribute right away. And that's okay, because certain positions like cornerback, interior O-line, and running back are tailor-made for rookies to shine from day one. These aren't spots where you sit, watch, and learn. These are positions where, if you're talented, you hit the ground running. So, if the Raiders grab a playmaker at wide receiver, or a powerful backfield threat, or a rock-solid guard in this draft, don't be surprised when those rookies become key pieces by mid-season. It's all part of the plan. This roster is already playoff ready. But with the right additions in the draft, the Raiders won't just be in the hunt, they'll be hunting. This season, the Las Vegas Raiders aren't just tweaking their strategy, they're going all in. They're expected to lean hard on the upcoming draft, and that means one thing. The rookies they bring in must be ready from day one. No warm-ups, no slow starts. These guys will be thrown into the fire with a mission: help win now. And you can feel it. The energy around this team is different. The commitment, the leadership, the hunger. Everything points to a squad that's gearing up for something bigger than just another season. With the draft just 2 weeks away, things are about to get chaotic. Rumors, mock trades, last-minute visits, every team is playing chess right now. And yes, there's buzz about the Raiders potentially trading back. But let's be real. That only works if another team is desperate enough to move up. And in this league, no GM wants to be the one who overpays and lives with regret. One bad trade? It can follow you your entire career. That's why the smart move might be the simple one. Stay right at pick number 6. No tricks, no trades. Just pick the best player available. A true difference maker. Someone who can step in and shift the momentum instantly. Because the Raiders don't just need bodies, they need ballers. The foundation is strong. The vision is clear. Now it's time to finish the build. Pick wisely, play hard, and prove that this team is ready to rise.